Emmanuel, bienvenue dans welcome Emmanuel. This is an English session in the session number 6, onboarding Emmanuel to smart contracts on Bitcoin. And today I'm very, very happy to join this session. And do you know why?
Yeah, I'll be doing the talking today.
Exactly. Because I'm going to be a spectator taking notes on my end, and I will let you the floor entirely for yourself. But I mean, just stay relaxed. I know millions of people are watching this live on
What?
Facebook.
Okay, you shouldn't have said that.
But the people who are watching are peers, and they're friendly people. They just want to, have your perspective on what we've been working on, onboarding you to smart contracts on Bitcoin. What's your take on all of this? Little introduction. Five sessions we did together. So I can recall a few of them, but this is not the topic of today. Since you have the floor, we can start whenever you want, whenever you're ready. And I'll go on mute. And at the end, maybe we can do a Q&A if you want, together.
Q&A, okay. Okay.
If anybody wants to send us questions, feel free to do that as well.
Okay. Hello, commençons.
How do you feel before you start? How do you feel today? Just give me a little intro. How you feel?
I feel okay, normal, except that I slept the whole day. I woke up at 2 p.m. I wonder why that happened, but it's fine.
Good. You had to rest.
Yeah, I kind of need a lot of rest. They're studying quite a lot.
Okay, super. All right, whenever you're ready, I'm going to go on mute and enjoy.
Okay. We're not supposed to start from. Thank you. We're supposed to start from me. Good. Okay. Okay. Just move this guy the way and okay. Hi everybody who's watching, and Rafa, welcome to my class. Today it's my class, of course. I hope I do well. And it's been like a summary of 5 classes I've had with Musi Rafa, and it's like my time to explain in maybe not in details, but to the best of my knowledge, what I have learned within this period of time. And hope it turns out well. Just okay, so for the outline, we'll be working on smart contract, looking at smart contract, what is stacks, Akadiko, NFTs, and city coins, which is basically an outline of the topics or subjects we discussed within this period of 5 weeks. Okay, and being stoic, I know nothing. The only knowledge I've gained is the knowledge that I know nothing. That's Socrates, one of my favorites. So don't expect too much. Okay. So then, smart contract. What is smart contract? Smart contracts are programs stored on the blockchain that runs or that are executed once a set of terms or predetermined conditions are met. They are basically programs that are developed, codes written by developers, and they are used to execute commands of agreements, maybe agreement in the sense that I have an agreement with Rafa, for example, and at the end of the agreement, if all conditions are met, then each participating ledger or system that has this, that takes part in this contract, has information that the certain condition that has been put in place for the contract between me and Rafa are met, then it executes this this set of instructions and executes the expected outcome of the contract. So they are used for execution of agreements so that all participating members, all users of this contract, or participating members of the contract, can know the immediate outcome of the contract. There's no intermediary here. Everything is highly automated. It's done by participating systems, computers, or ledger as we refer to them. Then smart contracts work by following simple instructions of if, when, then. An example would be if I borrow 100, for example, particular token from Rafa, each system has the information that, okay, Rafa borrowed Emmanuel 100 tokens, and then I have some kind of guarantee fees I'm supposed to pay, or just like a guarantee for the payment. Then if at the end of the contract period, I am able to fulfill the demands that, okay, I paid back the amount I got from Rafa back to Rafa, each node is able to recognize that this money has been paid back, this token has been paid back, and then the conditions of the contract will be made, which is my guarantee is returned to me and Rafa gets his money. But if I do not fulfill the details of the dictates of the contract, then my guarantee is gone. Of course, he doesn't come back to me. Then, like I said earlier, smart contracts are developed, programs written by developers. Then the benefits of smart contracts, the speed, efficiency, and accuracy. Once the condition is met, there's no need for signing of paperwork. You don't need to call a conference meeting and we all drive down to Miami or New York City just to sign the contract and feel like, this is done. But everything is highly automated, so it's a plus for smart contract. Trust and transparency. Since there's no intermediary, then I don't have issue with, he's not going to pay me, he's going to elope with my money or with my tokens or something like that. Everything is highly automated. And security is actually one of the core of smart contract. One thing I like about smart contract, of course, because it's highly secured. Since all the computers, I think an example we used then was all computers on the network have the same amount of information. Then if I would want to hack one of the computers or maybe cheat or do something, I would have to hack all the computers at the same time, which is practically impossible for now. I don't know if that is really possible, but totally impossible. Then savings, then there are no intermediaries. Then this takes away the part of paying someone to execute the commands for you or run some kind of errand. Highly automated. That's basically everything about smart contract in summary. Hope I'm doing well. Okay then, what is stacks? From my lessons, I concluded that stacks is a layer built on the Bitcoin blockchain to extend the capabilities of Bitcoin. And it was created by Moni Bali, and Ryan Scher. The developer is the creator of Stacks. And Bitcoin, it's a highly secure blockchain with wide acceptance, of course. It's like on a global level, thanks to Satoshi for his good work. It's like digital currency of the internet, of the future, I would say. But then it has some issues, which is basically the scalability issues is a big problem with Bitcoin. But Stacks is kind of integrating this part of solving this issue of scalability for Bitcoin by allowing decentralized finance, development of apps, non-fungible tokens, and bringing smart contracts, in general, bringing smart contracts to Bitcoin. This is more like an integration of two different independent blockchains so that users can have a combined advantage of both blockchains, which is majorly the security of Bitcoin and the security of a Bitcoin blockchain will be enjoyed by the users of the Stacks blockchain, and as well, okay, let's leave it at that. Okay, then unlike existing blockchains that are energy intensive because of the proof of work, they're energy intensive because they use a proof of work consensus mechanism. The Stacks blockchain uses the proof of transfer (POX) consensus mechanism to ensure that existing currencies are not burned, but instead they are circulated within participants in the ecosystem. For the case of a proof of work, we have to burn tokens to be able to mine. In the process of mining, we burn tokens, and then it's like a waste. High amount of energy is used in this process. But then what Stacks does is it uses already generated tokens, put into a smart contract, and then we can mine new coins, and then it saves a whole lot of time and of course energy consumption. Then the consensus mechanism combines feature of two blockchains, like I've said, existing blockchains, and it offers the advantages to its users. So members of decentralized finance space can enjoy the extended features of Bitcoin and smart contracts, like I said earlier on. It's two-in-one kind of advantage. On every transaction, the Stacks blockchain allow users to benefit from the combined functionality of two independent blockchains. And the third reason is members can earn reward directly in Bitcoin, or like in other situations where you would have to convert the Bitcoin, the token to Bitcoin, but here you can gain the rewards directly in Bitcoin. Great. Okay. Then what is stacking? Simply, it's a way of earning rewards in Bitcoin. That's really that is what I think it is anyway. So I put that at the first. Then stacking is technically is temporarily locking your stacks token to support this stacks blockchain security and consensus mechanism. Then as a reward for locking your stacks for a period of cycles, you will receive Bitcoin from miners as part of the proof of transfer mining. That is basically what stacking is about. Putting your stacks token into a smart contract as a way of supporting the ecosystem. To then at the end of the day, you get Bitcoin as part of your reward. Then stackers are holders of stacks, the stacks token, will lock their tokens temporarily to win Bitcoin rewards. And this locking can be done for a period of cycles, like I said earlier. Each cycle lasts about 2,100 blocks. Then stacking can be done individually, independently as a person. You can decide to stack if you have more than 110,000 stacks, or collectively in a pool if you're having less than 110,000 stacks. Then we kind of move to Akadiko, and this part has a lot of percentage issues. So many percentages, liquidation and everything. Yeah, Akadiko is built on stacks due to its proof of transfer consensus mechanism, connecting it to the Bitcoin blockchain. It is thought of as an open meeting place for decentralized finance activities where different users can borrow stable coins, they can provide liquidity, they can act as an external liquidator, or they can easily swap their tokens for a different token on the Akadiko website. Then the part I really love about the Akadiko part stuff is Akadiko is the self-paying loans. It was difficult for me to understand, but I think I still have some issues understanding this in detail, but then I'll try to explain to the best of my ability. In order to make use of the self-paying loans, you must hold stacks to be able to participate, make use of this option of self-paying loans on Akadiko. You should have stacks tokens at least, and then which you deposit in a vault. A vault is created. You can create that on the Akadiko website, create a vault, and then you're putting in your stacks as a collateral. In a way, you're providing liquidity, like we did in the stacks with stacks. When you're stacking, you provide liquidity and capital recycle, a way of maintaining the ecosystem. Because this stacks you're putting into the system goes in cycles. It doesn't just stay in a vault waiting for you, of course. Then users can then borrow an amount of stable coins based on the amount of stacks they put in as collateral. There's a certain percentage, 25%, I think, and they can borrow stable coins. In this case, USDA, which is produced from the smart contract. The tokens will be stacked in a proof of transfer, which generates a yield. This yield is usually higher than the rate of the stable coins that was initially borrowed. So because the yield has a higher rate, it offsets the loan you took, a stable coins you borrowed as loan. It offsets that loan, and there's a period to pay back the loan. Like Rafa said during the lectures, I remember he said, you don't need to be in a hurry. It takes 3 years. So it's actually a 3-year period. Then but the summary of it all is you collateralize your tokens, your stacks. You're able to mint stable coins, and the stable coins you are minting, you can use them for some other purpose. Other purpose, probably use them in a different. You can swap them for other tokens or use them for other activities that the decentralized finance space allows, and then you earn yields which has a higher percentage than the percentage of the rate that has a higher percentage rate than higher rate than the rate of the loan you took. So because of the difference in the lending, the borrowing rates and the yield rate, it offsets the loan payment you took initially. So over time, you are practically having a loan that pays itself. I think that makes sense in a way. Okay. And then we discussed NFTs. And NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible meaning more or less that it is unique, it cannot be replaced with something else. It's just a one-of-a-kind art. It doesn't exist somewhere else. You can have two of the same having the same property. Like, for example, having a picture as an NFT, only one of such picture exists. Even if I'm to make copies of it, it doesn't serve the purpose of the original one because it doesn't have the asset value or the store of value quality of the original NFT. An example here will be for fiat currencies like the US dollars, the euro, pound sterling, the Nigerian naira. They can be swapped for other currencies, but you cannot do this with non-fungible tokens. The fiat currencies are, or even cryptocurrencies. You can swap one token for another token, so then it is not fungible. A good example of a fungible token would be a movie ticket, because a movie ticket is for a particular movie at a particular time, not for every movie. It has the value of just one given movie and at a given time. So if you miss the show, then it means you can't swap it for another movie because it is just for one particular purpose. We discussed a little about Tasha's experiments. I just kind of summarized the whole her blog into a few lines, so I'll be able to explain what happened there. What Tasha did was she got a diamond for $5,000 and then destroyed the diamond, transferred the asset value of the diamond into an NFT. Just it was more of an experiment to show us that this is really possible and try to explain to her mom what an NFT is. Then from her explanation, a valuable commodity in the real world sense has a utility. For something to be valuable, it has to be useful in a sense. It has to have a use, of course. And it can be used as a store of value. So in this situation, we can look at diamonds, we can look at gold, we can look at houses, cars, yeah, because they are useful and they kind of have a particular value ascribed to them. But what NFT simply does is it transfers this second property, which is the store of value, to a digital asset, and then makes this digital asset have the same worth as the original material itself. So in the case of Tasha's experiment, she destroyed the diamond just to completely transfer the value of the diamond into the digital asset she's creating. And that way you can have, like I said earlier, you can have two same NFTs having the same value, because one has to be the original, and that alone can serve as an NFT. If you're having one of the same thing and it's having the same value, then it's a fungible token. It's more like you are swapping them. But for NFTs, they cannot be swapped. And 3 conditions are met for being store of value. And from Tasha's experiment, it shows that it's possible for NFTs to be store of value because, yeah, limited supply. Like I said, you can have more than one of the same. So the supply is limited, they are programmed, and they're enforced by code. So 2 NFTs cannot have the same code. Yeah, kind of different. And durability, yeah, it's hard to destroy, of course. Thanks to the security of blockchains, it's really, really very high to destroy digital assets. And of course, social agreement. There has to be a social acceptance of what this can be used for, a community that supports this and agrees that this has a particular value, this can be swapped for this can be used for this can be exchanged for, there's a particular value ascribed to it. So there has to be a community that accepts that this exists and this is what the value being ascribed to it. Ooh, it's a lot. City coins. Yeah,
breathe, Emmanuel. Take your time. You have all the time that you want. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
Breathe. Take your time to sink in every aspect that because you unloaded a lot of concept here. You're doing a great job.
Okay, I hope so. Thank you.
Do it on your terms. All right, it's on your terms.
Okay. Then for city coins, this is like the latest in the space. Everybody's talking about city coins from New York City, Miami, Austin, and so a map where it's possible to even have city coins in Africa, in Lagos, in other continents, in Australia. Hoping it becomes a big thing. I know it is going to become a big thing because the level of acceptance, yeah, shows that it's really moving fast. For example, the New York City coin that came out just recently, and then it's already raising. The last time I checked, I think it was about 10 million US dollars, if I remember them, for the city of New York. And let's see how City Coin is raising money for a city. And we're going to explain that. I hope I do good at it. Okay. City Coin is a way for people to contribute to the development and economics of their city. by helping to accumulate stacks, of course, which can be converted to USD at any time. What is the only criteria is for the leaders of the city to acknowledge that, okay, we want to take part in this ecosystem, we want to be part of this community, and then they are allowed to have access to this. Then the users, of course, who are supporting the cities to accumulate stacks or kind of raise funds for cities, in return, they earn stacks and Bitcoin in the process of supporting the city. This is kind of chart. It wasn't made by me. I took from Citycoin's website. It shows us the two components of what Citycoin is really about. This is just a depiction of the New York Citycoin. The components of the Citycoin is stackers and miners. These are the two major components. Stackers send in their stacks to a smart contract, and the smart contract produces a new a Citycoin, in this case a New York Citycoin for the stackers. And then the 100% of the stack sent into the smart contract is divided in two parts, not equally, 70% and 30%. 30% goes to a vault meant for a particular city, in this case, the city of New York, gets 30% of the stacks sent into the smart contract. And the remaining 70% goes to stackers. The New York City coins can then be stacked in a smart contract for the opportunity to gain stacks or Bitcoin in the process. That's like basically what this chart is displaying. Okay, I have written that in summary here, that the miners give away stacks to be put in the smart contract for the opportunity to win City Coin, Miami Coin, or New York City Coin in this case. And 30% goes to a city wallet, 70% to the stacker's wallet. The stacker stacks their token, which is the City Coin they received, to receive a stacks reward, or they can stack their stacks, of course, to win a Bitcoin reward. And city coins eliminate high risk attached to municipal bonds, because if cities want to raise money for projects or for development and other activities within the city, they would have to ask for the federal government funding, sell bonds, and tax the residents of the city. But Citycoin eliminates the high risk attached to municipal bonds. Also political risk, of course, because of non-approval of requests for federal interventions or allocation of funds, and as well social risk from asking inhabitants of the city to pay for tax. And it kind of creates a civic engagement, because everybody is kind of involved in the development of their city. They're contributing and kind of raising funds for the city. So it's more like every member of the city has a responsibility towards the development of their city. So there's this civic engagement created for inhabitants of each city. And as more and more cities begin to have their own coin, there will be creation of utilities, of course, for the token. During our lecture, we'll talk about the city bike, where you could use your city coins to pay for bike fees and maybe rent bicycles within the city, pay for transport, using restaurants. Yeah, city coin communities will create apps that will use tokens for rewards, for local benefits, access control to digital or physical spaces, for trading, for lending, smart contract execution, much more. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, c'est fini.
Wow. That was a lot in one presentation, and you did an amazing job. You went through lots of things that we went through together at length, and you went really quickly too, showing, I really appreciated your ability to extract, high level understanding of concepts and being able to explain them really simply so everybody understands. Yeah, you did a great job at explaining some of the mechanisms we saw together. For example, self-paying loans with Arcadico. How does it work? You went through a lot. Let's see. Maybe we can go through together a little bit more slowly. Like in my let's do it like kind of like a Q&A, because you went really fast for someone who already knows all these concepts. It's easy. I mean, it's not so easy, but there's always questions that can pop up. It's kind of a rabbit hole to understand everything in detail. But for someone who's like who's new to this, there's a lot to digest. So maybe why don't we just, like, in a relaxed way, we just since we have a lot of time, what time is it? Half an hour. You did a great job. So we just go through your presentation, and we just have a small conversation together before we call it a day. But you did a great job. I love also the slides themselves. All right, so this is your first slide. There was a slide before that. So crypto class with my
I didn't know what
friend.
to call it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to call it.
I love the. I have to say that you didn't use me at all during this preparation, and you only had a week after your exams to do this. So also well done, really well done, Emmanuel. I love the graphics here. I don't know where it comes from, and it was great. So crypto class. So after 5 sessions of an hour. This is your summary. It's pretty. It's very well. It did two things really well. You did really good at extracting high level, and at the same time explaining simply the concepts and how they work. And also, you were very comprehensive in definitions, and I really like you were not only focused on one aspect, but you tried to go wide. So really well done for that. So. Okay, I love this slide. Let's go to the next by Anthony, okay? Emmanuel. Okay, so, all right, so you wanted to talk about smart contract, the Stacks blockchain, how it brings smart contracts to Bitcoin, then Arcadico, this DeFi protocol that creates a stable coin, US dollar stable coin, and also decentralized exchange, the ability to swap a token for another. For example, Stacks for US dollar. NFTs, you talked about the diamond experiment. And I have a question for you. What is more difficult to destroy, a diamond or an NFT on Bitcoin?
I would say an NFT is more difficult to destroy.
Right?
Yeah.
She actually destroys her diamond using she goes to an auto repair shop.
Yeah.
Because she tries with a
with a hammer, and
with a hammer. The hammer gets destroyed.
Stuff on it. Yeah.
Right. But then she goes to another shop. They've got these compressor that they put the car, and then they smash the car. But anyways, and then Citicoin. So a lot to digest here. So really, again, great job. So let's just have a small conversation and going through your slides really quickly. You did remind what Bitcoin is, but you did it at the same time. So it might for someone who is just a beginner, like even more beginner than you and me, that might have made it a little more difficult, but it's fine. Let's go through.
Okay.
I love that slide. That's one of my favorite slides. I know that I know nothing. Here in this slide, you're basically telling your audience that, this is for you. If you know nothing, like us and like Socrates, because it's a mechanism to try and learn. It's a mechanism that is supposed to motivate you to learn, right? This humility of science, that everything can be falsified in a way. So I don't hold my truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that are endowed by their creature with some unlimited rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter and abolish it and institute new governments, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to create an NFT that is harder to destroy than a diamond. All right, so I love this slide. Let's continue.
Okay, then.
All right, so maybe like an improvement point that I would give you is to dissociate the slide from what you say. sometimes it's good to have, both of them just because you want to make something really clear. But also maybe I personally love, I don't know if you saw how Diane makes her slides, like she puts lots of his illustration. It really speaks. And then we pay attention to what you say because it's not written on the slide, So you've got the illustration that is there to kind of like make an impact. And then at the same time, we can really pay attention to you because what you're saying is so valuable that we cannot read it on the slide. But in this slide, I really like the last part, the part that says benefits of smart contract. I think, again, you did a great job at explaining, at a high level and without going into technical details. I'm not a professional developer. We're not professional developers here, but we want to explain to anybody, what we could help them understand as an intro to the space of crypto. So speed of efficiency and accuracy. Yeah. Trust and transparency, no intermediary involvement. So you're trusting the code here, and the code can be read directly on the blockchain. Everybody can verify the information on the blockchain. And with stacks, actually, that can be done because the code is not compiled, as opposed to Solidity on Ethereum. On Stacks, the code is humanly readable. So even if you're not a developer, if you've got a set of instructions that says if, then else, if Emmanuel, his wallet, doesn't send to Rafa's wallet this amount of money by this time, then the guarantee, the collateral, is posted to Rafa. And I hope it's a diamond NFT as a guarantee, right? From Dasha, or one of these very valuable NFTs out there in the Stacks ecosystem. There's one called Megapont. I don't know if you heard of Megapont.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes, you're familiar with the NFTs because we've received 20 NFTs in our campaign, and again, we want to thank everybody in the Stack community. You still have until today if you want to donate one last NFT, even an NFT that's worth one stack, that's fine. Anybody can do that with merely a picture, a photo that you think has value, and you can create an NFT. But anyways, let's go back to the slides. So yeah, if you go back just to, here you're trying to define a smart contract ahead of defining what Bitcoin is and what is a blockchain and all of that. So maybe, I would have added a slide about what is Bitcoin and what is a blockchain, so people understand. That's the first thing they want to understand. Yesterday, I was talking to friends, and the first question was, what's a blockchain? So what could you say if somebody asks you that after these 5 hours of crypto classes with Rafa? What's a blockchain? Like it's not an exam. It's just
Yeah, I would simply say set of codes.
Right. So the smart contract is a code, right? A software is a code, right? So it's a set of instruction. Then you have database. All right. So a software uses data to have an input, okay, and then set of instruction. Then there's an output, okay. But then, so the blockchain, just kind reminder is this magic tool that is shared between different participants that are in different locations. They're not centralized, okay. My computer, your computer, somebody else's computer. We could together decide to create a blockchain by maintaining a database that we share, and that we agree on the status of that database, like an Excel file. Okay, there's an Excel file that shows, Emmanuel, Rafa, Diane, Nilay, and then it shows, I don't know, a set of attributes or data. Okay, how much money we have, for example, or it could be anything, and we can change that data using a software that is a set of instructions, okay? And in a way that all our machines agree on the output, on the state at any point. Okay, so for Bitcoin, just to make it simple, okay, we're not pretending that we're like high level here. We're just
I know nothing.
small intro. So for Bitcoin, it would be simply to maintain a balance of money, of how much token, how much Bitcoin we have. And then for a layer like Stacks, it would also maintain these set of instructions, these smart contracts, these software, so to speak, these set of code, lines of code, are known inside the database that is known by all the participants. All the network agrees on the software somehow. Okay, so it's like a computer, an intelligence that is shared, and everybody agree that there is this set of instruction. So I think you did a great job in this slide of explaining that, okay, a smart contract intuitively is an agreement between two people, an agreement of what will happen. So it's a software, it's a set of instruction. If you reimburse me, I give your guarantee back. If you don't, I keep the guarantee. And that is a set of instruction, that is a contract that we sign, and the network has this responsibility of maintaining that. Not one central party that could cheat. If the central party says, oh no, the contract wasn't that I would give you the money back, so I don't need to give you the guarantee. You cannot do that because you've got the security of the network, so to speak. Okay, so in very high level and in simple terms, I think it would have helped your audience to just define what this blockchain means in a way. Okay. Let's continue, my friend. And you can interrupt me, because it's a conversation. Okay. The goal was for the both of us. So let me maybe ask you questions here. What is Stacks? I think no. Here I'm also giving you feedback, so it's normal. I'm talking a lot, but you did a great job again. Yeah, you did a great job here, Emmanuel, at being very comprehensive in your definition. It brings smart contracts to Bitcoin. And what do you mean by smart contracts? What do you mean by these software? What do you mean by this intelligence, these set of agreements? What does it do? What is this set of automated agreements do? They do DeFi. It's decentralized finance, so the opposite of centralized finance. So yeah, we just gave an example of a loan with a guarantee. That's a set of instructions. That's DeFi. And it's DeFi because it's the security of it is maintained by the network of decentralized machines, not JP Morgan, a centralized party, or BNP Paribas if you're in France.
Oh, I use that.
Voila. So the security is the job of the network, not of a government or centralized party that has for example, a bank that has that is insured by a government. If the bank goes bankrupt, then the government insures the users of the bank up to, I don't know, $100,000 or $200,000. If the bank goes bankrupt, the government will chip in, so to speak. In this case, no, it's backed by no government, no central party. It's backed by all these machines, and there's so much security built in that it becomes harder to destroy than a diamond. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing a great job at giving you a feedback now. It's an auto feedback, but so what is Stacks? So once you have this, I think here, so you did define blockchain here. So still you great. And well, it brings smart contracts to Bitcoin. Okay, let's continue. All right, so here, let's see what I have. So you had the sentence, you said Stacks in a way. So kind of a layer on top of Bitcoin allows you to combine the advantage of the two worlds. I think that's what you said. I really like the way you put it, actually. You know, the security of Bitcoin and then the scalability solution of smart contracts for stacks. And the fact that it's combined, I think you did a great job here. And also you mentioned here that stacks has this novel consensus mechanism that allows stackers to get paid a Bitcoin yield. And that is also, you know, a property that other blockchains don't have. Okay, let's continue. So it's solving the scalability issue. It is a combined blockchain. I really like these terms. Good job. And then, so a lot, you know, so it's a lot to digest, you know. Yeah. So you could just like maybe before going to the next slide, you know, transition, you know. So, you know, Bitcoin maintains this balance of money that is very hard to destroy. And then this layer on top of Bitcoin called stacks allows it to scale and to have this intelligence being maintained by a network, a decentralized network. And it combines the security of Bitcoin. So it's a lot to take, right? Don't you think? Because now, like, it's almost like you're putting me chaos by asking me what staking is. It's like, if I don't have time to digest, you know, all of these concepts, I'm like, I'm chaos right now. I cannot follow, right? But we saw a lot, right? So stacking, I think here again, you did a great job. You did a great job at explaining stacking at a high level again. It's a simple way of earning rewards. And actually the link is pretty clear because before you told that, you know, stacks allows you to stack stacks allows you to get paid a Bitcoin yield. So what is stacking? It's actually the action of locking your tokens for a certain period of time and getting your Bitcoin yield. So you get a great job here. You can continue. It's just that maybe the slide is very like, again, the slide is very scary because I've got all these. Yeah, in the previous slide, you know, I had a lot to digest, and then I have all this information. Maybe you could keep that for you, and then, you know, see if your audience, because why not presenting this to people? You know, why not presenting this to like as an introduction to for people who want to know about Blockstack or stacks, rather. You know, you want to think about them, how they, you know, what are the takeaways that they're going to take. And if you attack them with a slide with so much, you know, give them a little illustration, give them a little candy, you know, like try to destroy an NFT using a hammer. You can try and destroy your screen, but your NFT will still be in the blockchain, right? Anyways, then moving on to Arcadico, amazing project, building the primitives of DeFi on Blockstack with a stablecoin. Stablecoin is a subject that right now regulators are, I think in the media and all of that, they're not doing a good job at explaining what it is. And there's this misconception that it might be a threat for example, the US dollar as a global reserve for trading in the world. But, you know, I think that everybody can agree today that we all want money to be, we want to be able to transfer money really quickly at a very low cost, like at the cost of light. And also we want to do that in a non-custodial way, meaning we don't rely on a third party. But basically, anyways, what did you do here? I really love the little candy illustration. By the way, what do you think of their logo?
The A.
Yes. So do you know what Arcadico was?
A bridge in ancient Greece.
Voila. Right. There's like you can actually Google it, and there's a bridge. It's one of the oldest bridge, I think, still not destroyed. So why is it a bridge? Why did they choose like a bridge? I think it's genius because Stacks is kind of like a bridge for Bitcoin to, I think you said it in one of your slides, it extends the capabilities of Bitcoin. You said it in your previous chat. So you had lots of, I mean, you did a great job. Anyways, proof of transfer, connecting it to the Bitcoin. Let me see what I have for you here. Had a question about stacking, how it helps the consensus mechanism, but forget about that question. I think here you did a good job of explaining how self-paying loans are actually self-paying loans, right? So yeah. You said that the yield of the guarantee of the collateral is higher than the interest rate that you pay for the borrowed money, and goes to offset, I think you use that term, or to reimburse the principal of your loan. And in a matter of years, you basically have a loan that reimburses itself. And how does it do? Where does this yield comes from? It comes from proof of transfer. It comes from the Bitcoin yield that you get from stacking your stacks, right? Your collateral.
Yeah, I think I probably left something else. I don't know if I spoke about the you can be liquidated, yeah, when the price of your token goes lower than the liquidation rate. It leads to liquidation, so that's something to watch out for.
You're talking about liquidation risks of your loan, of your vault?
Yeah, the vault can be liquidated.
Yeah, so they call it an over collateralized loan. So your guarantee is several times your loan, right? But if the price of your collateral goes down, then there is this mechanism to guard, the quality of these loans, to have them to stay at a certain level, that if the value of your collateral goes down, then they close your loan and they charge you a penalty. So there is a risk. All right. Okay, good.
Okay.
So you see, it's a bit, I would say, the same improvement, maybe improvement advice. Keep a lot of this for you, maybe, so that we pay attention to you, and then maybe extract or put more illustration here in your. But I like the colors, pink and black and white. And here you did a great job. So again, what allows this loan to be paying itself is two things. It's the guarantee is several times the loan, and it's a guarantee, it's a collateral that is a producing asset, because you can stack it and you can stack your stacks and get paid a yield, a Bitcoin yield. So that offsets on not only the interest rate that you need to pay for the loan, called the stability fee, but also the principal. So after a few years, you don't owe anything, and you get your stacks back. And on day one, you get that USDA loan, right?
Yeah.
You see, I'm not reading your slide because I know I know the basics. So you
are
also,
my teacher. You are the teacher.
No, but you I'm a student, but you also know these things. You knew how to say it. So trust yourself. And if you don't have like a little how do you say these, when you cheat, you have like a piece of paper, or you write it on your hand. Hold on, I forgot. You write on your hand, self-paying loans are over collateralized. The collateral is a producing asset. It renders a Bitcoin yield, and that Bitcoin yield offsets not only the stability fee, but as well as the it goes to reimburse the principal. You write all of this here, and on the slide you put like a hammer on the loan or something. Yeah, something that is impactful, you know, that people will remember a hammer on a loan or something. Or fun, make it fun. Anyways, so switching on, like we didn't see enough to NFTs. And here I really loved your example of a movie ticket, showing that it is a unique ticket that you cannot exchange for another ticket. Why? Do you want to be in the back, completely in the back of the theater, or do you want to be in the front row and being able to be close to the music, live music, a concerto or something? You know, these are really different and unique experiences that would probably be worth different prices, don't you think? Or you go to an NBA basketball, and you know this is the 1990s, and or the early 2000s, and you're able to see Michael Jordan. That ticket is worth different. It's not the worth. I mean, it's not. It's a different. If you go to your local, match of teenagers, so you cannot exchange these two tickets, can you? Right?
No, you can't.
Right. So if I look at your picture, I mean, pictures are difficult to produce. I mean, but I like that music. Music cannot be swapped for another music. Even, well, it's a debate, but whatever. Okay.
But then even if you could swap a song for another one, the song itself is different from whatsoever song you're swapping it for. So it's basically not the same thing at the end of the day.
Right, even the same song and two different singers, like interpretateur. How do you say that in English? I forgot.
Yeah, it's more like me singing my way and Frank Sinatra sings my way. His has more value than mine, of course, because it's like the original and it's...
I liked yours. Don't devalue yourself. Yeah, that was a great performance that you did. Congrats for that. And yeah, you don't need to win, and who cares who won? I think you did.
I had fun. That's what matters. At the end of the day, I did it my way.
Why my way? Yeah. Okay. So not fungible. All right. So as opposed to fungible, like $1 against $1 can be exchanged, and who cares which number is on the bill? Okay, fine. Yeah. Let's continue and conclude, because I'm taking you a lot of time now, almost an hour. Tasha's experiment. So these three conditions that I call the ultimate, Tasha's ultimate conditions of making sure that an NFT could potentially accrue value are these three. She mentions that in one of her blog posts.
Yeah.
That like other assets that have this store of value feature, if you want your NFT to, potentially accrue store of value, it needs to be limited. And that limit needs to be enforced by code. Durable, if you can destroy your NFT, then, the value of it, it won't accrue store of value. Gold is very difficult to destroy. You can melt gold.
Yeah.
And then, social agreement. A Picasso, a Rembrandt, a Da Vinci. Why is this particular one worth $400 million? It maybe is an embodiment of, a certain period of time or in our human history, and it has
just the brand name.
Yeah, it has accrued value through its history and through human networks. Absolutely. So these three conditions are essential for an NFT to, be a good candidate to have a store of value. If you've got a million copies of a same Rembrandt, a million people can own it. So whereas if you only have one, it has more value. and if you can destroy it, it will lose its value easily. It will lose its value easily. And if nobody cares about your Rembrandt, if it's a Rafa brand or something, like for example, here I have a painting by Luc Schnell, who's a painter. It probably has less value than a Rembrandt because socially people don't recognize it as valuable as a Rembrandt. A Luc Schnell has a certain value on the market. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue. So I like that. Tasha's experiment. I really love that slide. You see, that slide is really like impactful. So your job is not only to try to explain in a very compelling way, but also to mark people's spirits, or like to strike them a little bit with an illustration. I really love that city coins. This map of coins, of the world with coins, is a bit describing what city coin is doing, right? Is you can create an economy at the scale of a city on the map, and that coin, that currency, can be a means of exchange for that particular city, and it also can be a representation of the economy itself. It's a thriving economy. Have you seen these pictures at night of the globe that you can see the light, the electricity? So you can also measure, how powerful a city is by just using that map of the world at night. And I think in your presentation at the beginning, you mentioned Bitcoin. In Bitcoin, you burn electricity, whereas with Stacks, you're burning digital electricity, which is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
So I think you did a great job also at explaining that Stacks has this novel consensus. They burn Bitcoin. It's actually not burned. It's actually sent to stackers, right?
Redistributed in the ecosystem, like proof of transfer as opposed to proof of work.
Voilà, exactement. And in a way, it's also a way to recycle the energy burned by Bitcoin. So that energy is not only being used in the Bitcoin economy, now it's being recycled and used in the Stacks economy. And since these city coins are built on Stacks, which is built on Bitcoin, it's a derivative of this energy. So this energy is not only being recycled for the Stacks economy with the NFTs, with the DeFi, it's also being recycled with the city coin now, that and coming back to the real world. You can use your city coin in New York today, and recently, and in Miami. So it has a utility here. So, and you mentioned, for example, a use case that I like, that you could be paying your bicycle city bike subscription, right? Using your city coin. But yeah. So yeah, again, this is a lot to take. But let me ask you a question. So if you had to summarize this slide with an illustration, not the content, what illustration would you put here? And maybe you mentioned civic engagement. Why does Citicoin allows? Because here you mentioned muni bonds, you mentioned civic engagement. So maybe give me an illustration here. If you want, you can pull out a drawing and draw me something.
Okay. I use the word civic engagement because it's more like city inhabitants of a city inhabitants are much more integrated in the activities of their city, supporting the development, because literally they are literally contributing to the development of the city by giving off 30% of their tokens as a support to the city's wallet. Then it's more like they have a say as to what this 30% should be used for.
Ah, nice. So I would say that, blockchain, Citicoin, Stack, smart contracts, DeFi, Arcadico, each topic is kind of like a rabbit hole. And it's very difficult to summarize, I would say, in only one slide. So, building your presentation through steps and maybe just choosing your ideas. maybe being okay with not being so comprehensive. You know, this is not the Citicoin documents explaining how the mechanism works. It's just your presentation and explaining, you know, what is striking in your opinion. So I think here you've got several ideas. First, this the fact that Citicoins can how do they fund themselves? They, you know, they tax their citizens. That's a revenue. They got federal funds, and they got loans on the market, muni bonds. And these muni bonds have an interest rate they have to pay back. So that is an interesting approach that you could have like chosen. Just only one slide of, you know, how does a city funds itself? So maybe you draw a city, I don't know, and then you see a little chart of, you know, inflows and outflows. So getting money on the market with the loan, having to repay an interest rate, having to tax my citizens that give me a revenue that allows me to repay my loan, and I use this loan to build a bridge, Arcadico Bridge, for example. Okay. You can have fun with the audience and take a picture of the Arcadico Bridge itself and ask yourself, you can also go off topic just to have fun. You know, how much do you think the Arcadico Bridge cost in its time? It was pretty costly, I think. You know, how you know, you have to have all these stones, right? You have to have labor. Who knows? You know, maybe they were really weak at the time, these people. I don't know. Okay, so, and then you can compare that with Citicoins. Citicoins doesn't work this way. It's almost the tax is baked into the protocol, right? So the miners are in a transparent way, they're assuming this tax because 30% of the stacks that they are forwarding into the smart contract goes to a wallet, custodial wallet that the city can pick up at any time. And by the way, the city doesn't have any implication on they didn't have any implication in they didn't conceive the technology. The miners are independent, you know. Anyways, so that's the one approach. And then maybe you could, the second idea that I see in your slide is, why is it the civic engagement, right? In muni bonds, why is it limited, and why it is much broader in the case of Citicoins? Well, Citicoins, anybody can mine, anybody can own, anybody can stack. Yeah. Muni bonds is a market of accredited investors.
The big guys.
Right. Citicoins are programmable. Anybody can develop application using Citicoins. You cannot do that with muni bonds, right? So you could create a decentralized autonomous organization that uses a treasury, a Bitcoin treasury, or a Citicoin treasury that funds, you know, an initiative for housing, an initiative for helping poor people, or, you know, that combines ideas together. You can build, like, it's a set of instruction, a program, so you can be creative with Citicoins, right? And you can own, anybody can own, and if your city does well, your Citicoin will accrue value, and anybody can win along with the city, if the city is well managed. Okay. Yeah. In the case of mini bonds, these are loan instruments, so they pay most of the time not only but variable or fixed interest rate, sometimes leverage. But anyways, you don't have to go into details, but you see the idea of like separating ideas, maybe making a little bit more slides, extracting, I mean, separating also what you talk about and the illustration in order to make it impactful, and then you become valuable. They want you to speak because not everything is on the slide.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on and conclude, I think.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you. So that slide is actually pretty good. Why? The illustration is clear.
Yeah.
And then you don't even need the comment below. That thing you can remember. Thanks to Sir Lord Rafa or Young Apprentice Rafa, whatever. And also to the Stacks community for their support. They've donated 20 NFTs so far. Creators of the NFTs donated most of the time, and also sometimes just a normal community member. I don't know if there are any normal community members because there's so much talent in this community, so much, I get inspired by the people in this community. That's it for my feedback, I guess. Do you have any questions? Or maybe I can ask you one or two more questions.
Yeah, one question before you ask me mine. I hope it doesn't, in case you ask me what I have in mind. Okay, then. I was thinking, when you send in stacks into a smart contract, you just see a city coin popping out of nowhere. How does that happen? Does a smart contract create the new token?
Voila. So you can actually read the documents that describe how the protocol works. And they're pretty concise. It's not very long to read. We can actually go to citycoin.co, citycoins.co, and you click on documents or docs, and then you click on the issuance schedule. Let me share that screen. You see my screen?
Not yet.
Me neither. I don't know what happened with my computer.
Okay.
Okay. So if you go to citycoins.co, and you click on documents, then you go to issuance schedule. So here they explain a lot, what is stacking, what is mining. And you go to the issuance schedule here. They say basically every 10,000 stacks blocks, rewards are 250 city coins. Okay. The next 200,000 stacks blocks, it's 100 city coin. So there's a halving event. It's called a halving event, that the reward is reduced. So basically the protocol, the smart contract, is issuing these city coins every stack block. They issue a 250,000, for example, New York City coin. I think a block is is mimicked on the Bitcoin block. So it's every 10 minutes they issue 250,000 city coins, right?
Yeah.
During 10,000 stacks blocks. Okay, so and then after that they only issue 100,000 city coins. Does it answer your question?
I would say kind of.
So if you want a visual representation of this would be my slide, for example, or I would have like maybe a drawing. You want me to draw something on paint? But this is a block, okay, and the miners are sending 5,500 stacks. There are 21 miners,
Yeah.
and there's one winner that is elected every 10 minutes. So 10 minutes before they forwarded 5,200 stacks, and one winner is granted 250,000 New York City coin.
New York City.
So your question is, what was your question again?
Does the smart contract create the new city coin itself?
Yes.
Because you're sending in stacks and then you're having city coin at the end of the day. So how did the city coin come about? It just appeared out of nowhere, kind of.
How? Repeat that part. How the
How was the city coin created? Because initially you sent in stacks,
Mhm.
and then
They-
you're getting back city coin.
Right.
The smart contract creates the new token that you're receiving in place of the stacks you sent in.
So
I'm actually asking because
that's an
there's
interesting
this,
question. I kind of like it.
because there was this diagram. I don't know if you could go to the homepage of the Citicoin website.
Mhm.
There was this diagram I kind of copied earlier on here. Yep. Oh, yeah, this. You see,
Mhm.
3 stacks are going in, and then all of a sudden, from the smart contract, you're seeing a New York City coin just popping out at the bottom.
Yeah.
So how did it just happen? I was wondering.
Wow, it's magic. Have you seen these magicians? You know, they do these tricks and all of a sudden it pops out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So if you and I want to create a coin, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to say, we're going to create, I don't know, let's say 1 million My French Community coin. Okay.
Sounds like an idea.
Or I don't know, the central bank, how do? They print some paper,
Yeah.
right? And they maintain somewhere in a centralized database, they maintain the records of how much money they have printed. So they have control. Okay, the central base has control of how much money, the mass of money that is printed, right? And they control the rules on how it's being printed. If there's a crisis, a subprime crisis or a pandemic, like a coronavirus, that they don't want the economy to collapse, they try to stimulate the economy, and they're like economic theories on how to do that, Keynes, for example, but they are basically the kings of the money, and they decide how to do it in the interest of the economy. Okay,
Yeah.
and they change these rules, and they say that when they're printing the money, that money or they can issue loans and ask for interest rate to other banks. But basically, they create the rules. Here, the rules are created ahead of time, and they are enforced by code. So you can actually go to the code of Citicoins and see how it's been done. Or if you trust their documents, but the documents is just a reflection of how the code is being written. Okay, this is just a reflection in human terms of what the code says. It says that every 10 minutes, I'm going to create 250,000 New York City coins, and I'm going to give it to one of the miners. Okay, how do you become a miner? Well, you forward some stacks into a particular program, a set of instructions. And how do you win? Well, there's a random verifiable function, and you win a city coin as a function of your weight or probability to win as a total of. So for example, here, Asian Air.btc has forwarded 700 stacks in the smart contract. That's 13% roughly of the total amount forwarded by all miners, and they've got a 30% chance. And then there's this function, and you can look at the function. How does it work? You go to the code and you look at how the function works, but it randomly picks like a lottery. You go, if you've got one ticket, you've got that amount of chance. Here, they've got 700 tickets of a total of 5,455.20 tickets. Okay.
More like probability.
And it's random. Like, okay. That's how it works. Question: if there's no miners, how does it work? It's also in the code. I forgot, but I think it goes there. If nobody minds, I think it goes to the city directly, 100%.
Whoa,
So
nice.
anybody, and there are people, somebody is, for example, here mining with one stack, but his probability to win is really small. Okay. Does it answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I would just probably have to study a little more about it to gain better understanding of it. Now I think I have something to work on.
Awesome. So I think it's the end of our 6th session that we committed. We'll still have 1 month starting now. I mean, starting tomorrow, that we'll be selling these NFTs to saviors, anybody in the community, and all proceeds of the sale will go to Emmanuel. We've got 20 NFTs. Let me just share that. STX NFT. You can still donate until tonight if you want. Let me share the screen so just we can conclude with this. Where is it? Where is it? My screen number 4. Okay. So we've got really amazing. I don't know why this NFT is not rendering here. It was rendering previously. It's a Stacks Fox, pretty cool one. We've got a block number 2021. I was told that the floor price for this block is 350 stacks. So that's exciting. So if you want this, so we'll be putting prices with Emmanuel here. And Emmanuel, you can check at these if you want. You can check at these all of these NFTs and their market price on the market. If you go on the market here somewhere, you can see per category what the prices are. And I think, you know, my idea was just to put the floor price for each. So we got a Citadel. We've got a this is the Bitcoin day. this NFT was sold to Fridger in DVL's campaign, and now he's donating it back to us now, and you can buy it. So I'm not sure how much we're gonna ask for this, except for this one. This is an error, shouldn't be here, my bad. Picasso Magic, a Stack Samurai, a Stacks Parrot, a Scent.
Oh, I love the mushroom. It's kind of psychedelic.
A Mushroom 4, a Blood Museum. I think these are worth on the market. You can check their price. I think, you know, maybe I'll consult with you and you tell me what price you want to put to these NFTs, since you're the one who's going to manage this. Or maybe I can even send it to you and you manage them, and people can bid or buy them directly from you instead of from me. Up to you. Really, it's the same. But I just wanted to help you with this. We got a Funky Donut, number 174 at Deruptar. We've got several Stacks Pops. We've got a Metaraf, several Bells Witches. We've got a Satoshi's Team, a Stackulant. How cute is this Stackulant? Another Stacks, folks. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why it's not rendering. And then we've got an Anim Girl. So I'm hopeful that we'll reach our goal of 700 stacks. We've already donated you 180 stacks. You've opened a vault with Arcadico.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then let's just put a price on all of these together offline, and either from this wallet or your wallet. But I think this is simpler maybe here. I don't know, whichever. Maybe yours. What do you think?
Any works fine for me.
We'll discuss that if you want to have a hand on it right away. But with the distinction that there are 6 of these that we want to reserve to saviors of DVL. So you'll have a 1 week exclusivity. I've changed my mind from 1 month. 1 month is too long, but 1 week, during 1 week. So these include Fridger, Luis, Nakamoto, Axopoa, Explorator, and Spartan, and myself. So I'm going to ask them, 6 NFTs that they want to bid on, and they have an exclusivity for 1 week. And again, the proceeds will go to you. So they're buying the NFT, but only they have a 1 week to buy them, let's say, these 6 NFTs. And then at the end, anybody can buy any NFT. And all proceeds will go to you, and we'll conclude our campaign.
Yeah, then I can go back to my books.
Voilà. C'est tout pour aujourd'hui, Emmanuel. That's it for today. Conclusion.
Okay. It's been an interesting one. Normally, I wouldn't come up to try something new, but whenever I try something new, I learn in the process. And I would say, in a way, it kind of relates to what I'm studying presently: bioeconomy, circular economy, closing the loop, where we're trying to limit the waste and use of virgin resource. It's kind of using waste, available materials, recycling it, which is basically what Stacks is kind of doing. The energy from Bitcoin, instead of being burnt, it's used in a sustainable way, and it's used and redistributed within the ecosystem. So it kind of helped me reinforce some of the concepts in my Bio 101 class. Interesting. And then the slide presentation, I kind of learned a lot today, the way you kind of explained the better ways of presenting it, keeping the ideas just on the slide, but the focus is on me. What I say is much more should be more interesting than what is on the slide. Just illustrations and maybe valid points should be on the slide. In all, it has been a full package of learning experience, and it's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Ouais, super, super, super. And I'm also a student, not that I'm an expert at all at presenting. You should see Diane's presentations. But yeah, if you take your time, if you're very clear, you have an illustration that is impactful, makes the people fun, people laugh or something, and then you take your time. I'm also, I have to make progress on that. But that's awesome. Again, until tonight, feel free to donate 1 NFT to my wallet currently. And then I'll reach out to Saviors of Divya. They have a 1 week exclusivity for 6 chosen NFT. But starting today or tomorrow, really soon, anybody can purchase one of these NFTs. We've got beautiful ones. A block 2021 again. Several Stacks Fox, Popsicles, Samurai, Picasso, mushrooms, Blurred, a museum, parrots, Saint, Bell's Witches, Metaraphs, Stacculants, Satoshi Steams. We even have a Deruptar. I mean, how cute is this Deruptar? And yeah, all proceeds will go to Emmanuel. Thank you, all the Stacks community, for your support. Et c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Et à bientôt. Maybe we'll do a little checkup on you know, how the kind of like auctioning or bidding, anybody can buy it. So you'll tell me what price you want to put on them. Probably for the 6, it will be more like kind of like a symbolic price, but they have a 1 week kind of like advantage, kind of like to reward them for saving Divya. But then, you know, anybody can, you know, trade this NFT and all proceeds will go to you.
Et surtout, get a flamme.
Intact. Merci, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Super travail.